everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host, Jennifer. Today, this is going to just be a blog, or a vlog if you will. I am not going to really be showing anything. I'm going to be talking about events, current events, and I'm going to be flashing up pictures and putting in video. Yeah, it's been a week. It has been a week. But I'm very, very lucky that we made it through the blizzard. I'm very lucky we made it through the blizzard intact for the most part. Now what's going to happen is the videos are coming up out of order. This is going to air Friday, and Monday, the following Monday, which I think is the 10th. The 10th is a video that I recorded this past Monday during the blizzard, as a matter of fact. So if on Monday you hear me talking about the blizzard, it's not a new blizzard. It is the blizzard that has passed already, and we made it through. We are fine. So just keep that in mind when you see Monday's video. Don't freak out. Everybody's fine. It has all passed. And as of today, the recording of this video, I don't even know what day it is. I just know that it's not Friday yet. The snow is starting to melt. Finally, the roads are starting to clear and people are starting to dig out. Now, I'm going to say this because I had a couple of comments from Northerners and Canadians. I'm going to say this. I am not a wimp when it comes to snow. I am from Michigan. I had 4 months of snow most of my life. I have only lived here in Virginia since 2011. So, not even 11 years yet. I will say that before I say all the stuff about the snow, because I know that Northerners and Canadians and people that have lots of snow where they live get like cocky about Southerners and people who don't live by snow. I am not one of those people. I know how to handle snow. I know how to deal with snow. Most of this state does not. So keep that in mind when you're commenting. I know what I'm talking about with snow. And when I say it was a bad snowstorm, it was a bad snowstorm. I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to like start anything. I'm not trying to like be dramatic. But when they said snow was in the forecast, I was like, yeah, no big deal. Snow. I already knew they were going to close everything down because that's the way they do things when you're in an area that doesn't get a lot of snow. When it snows, the whole world shuts down. Grocery stores close down. The freeway closed down. I mean, everything closes. The schools, everything. The kids were due to go back to school Tuesday. I already told them ahead of time. I said they're going to close the schools. And to me, it's a joke how often they close the schools because I walked to school for 4 months every year in the snow with snow boots on and snow pants on. And then you get to school and you like strip off all these extra layers. Because by the time you're getting there, you're sweating. Like, I know all about this. So for me, it's so ridiculous that they close it so easily. There has been years where they've closed the schools because there was a threat of snow and then we never actually got any snow. So like the grass is green and the sidewalk was damp and they closed the schools. So with all of that, this was not that kind of situation. We were in for where I live specifically. It kind of felt like we were on the epicenter. We were expected and forecasted to get between 16 and 18 inches of snow. And the most snow I have seen here since I've lived here is maybe 12 inches. And I was like, okay, 16, 18 inches, I've seen that plenty of times growing up, no big deal. This snow was that really heavy, wet snow. So I should be popping up pictures, and I will probably cut it in a few places to add video. This is what we saw. There was downed trees, and for me personally, and I will talk about this I think I talk about it in Monday's video. On the other side of my mirrored wall is a massive evergreen tree. The base of the trunk of the tree is probably 3 or 4 feet around. It is big enough that I don't think I could hug it all the way around. It's a big tree, and it is taller than my 2-story building of a house. It is a massive tree. And while the snow was coming down, and I mean it was coming down sideways. It was just so thick. And I should be popping up pictures, like I could barely see across the street. And we kept hearing loud pops and cracks as that tree next to my house, and it is maybe 3 feet from my house. It was cracking and snapping and popping as the branches were just falling. One branch, I will show here, fell on our fence. Our fence is broke. We have not taken the tree branch off of the fence. You can't even call it a tree branch at this point. It's about this big around, the branches, and it's the size of a tree that fell on our fence. So we have not been able to remove that yet because there's still a lot, like it's dangerous to be out there right now. So we're waiting for some of the snow to melt down and go remove that off of our fence. So me, Mr. Cinnamon, and Juju probably are going to have to go work together and get it off the fence. And luckily for Mr. Cinnamon, last year for one of the holidays, I think Father's Day or something, I bought him a chainsaw. He's never pulled it out of the box, but I bought it for him because we'd planned on chopping down a Christmas tree, and we've never had a chainsaw. He's always done it with a handsaw, and so I was like, you need a chainsaw for Christmas trees. And then we stopped buying Christmas trees. We stopped chopping them down. We just bought a plastic tree. So luckily we have a chainsaw, and I hope that it works well enough for this giant piece of tree that fell on our fence. Our gazebo that is in the backyard has fallen down. It just collapsed in on itself. So it's the second year in a row we've had one of those just disintegrate under snow. And it's funny because Mr. Cinnamon knew it was going to snow, so he took the tarping and stuff off of it so that it didn't collect the snow, and it still just collapsed under the weight of the snow because the snow was really bad. And I am going to cut and put a video right here. Now what you should have seen is us driving down the main road that is by our house, and you should have seen how many trees were down. That was maybe a 1/4 mile drive, and that's how many trees were down within that 1/4 mile. We have a front area of our neighborhood, and it is lined. There is a very large creek, and there's a big pond at the end of the creek, and along that creek is about 15 evergreen trees. I do not have pictures of that because I was just shocked that when we left the neighborhood today, and there are only a handful left because they all fell under the weight of the snow. That's how heavy, that's how dangerous this snow was. It was scary. It was scary, and that's why I came in and I filmed Monday's video when I did, because I was scared. And I was trying not to get scared, and I was trying not to let my kids see how scared I was. But I was like, you guys need to come downstairs. You need to be in the living room. Like, we all need to be together in case that tree falls. And I wasn't just worried about us. I was worried about the lady next door. She's an elderly woman. She's not, I can't call her elderly. I don't know how old she is. She's completely gray-haired. She lives by herself. She does have adult children, but she has a 1-story house. And if my tree fell on her house would be done. Like, and I was worried about that. And I'm looking out the window just watching the branches fall. And I'm like praying to God, please just let that tree be up. Needless to say, we are going to try to contact, as soon as the snow melts, a tree guy and have that tree taken out. Because how many tree branches we lost, the tree is lost. Like, it just needs to come out, and so that it's not a safety concern. And then that will make me feel better, because the only tree we will have left in our yard is my pink dogwood tree. And the pink dogwood tree is, you know, dogwoods are very skinny stick branches. It's not a very big tree. If it falls anywhere, it ain't falling on nothing, because it's not close enough to anything to fall and hit something. So And then because of everything, there's been so many power outages in our area. My older sister actually lost power, and her and my 2 nieces and her girlfriend had to go stay somewhere else because they lost power for 3 days in their apartment. And there was a lot of power outages here. And then for over 24 hours, I don't even know how long people were stuck on the freeway. And I don't live far from I-95. I don't live far from it at all. And I'm so thankful that Mr. Cinnamon did not have to go to work that day, because I cannot imagine the fear that I would have felt had my husband been on that freeway. There were families stuck on the freeway with no food, running out of gas, for days. It was terrible. Everything you saw in the news, that's what was going on. And that was my city. So, yeah. We're fine though. We never lost power. It flickered and flickered and flickered. And I was nervous but that it was gonna go out completely, but at the same time, like, I knew we would be okay, because even if we lost power, I have ways of cooking still, because I have a gas barbecue grill, and I would have went outside and cooked in it. I still have a fireplace, and the fireplace is gas, so I still would have had warmth, and I would have found a way to heat the house as best I could with that little fireplace. Like, I know we would have been okay if we lost power, but I'm still so grateful that we did not lose power. The one thing though, we didn't have a whole lot of food because I didn't go grocery shopping, because we had food for New Year's, and I was lucky for this because we have a big meal on New Year's. We used to have ham on Christmas, and then Mr. Cinnamon discovered, like a couple years ago, he really likes prime rib. So now we switch prime rib to Christmas, and we have a ham on New Year's because I like ham. I prefer ham. So we do a meal on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. It varies year by year. So we had just cooked a ham, so I had lots of ham left over for us. And I knew my roots started to come back to me. Like, whenever there's something like this happens, like, my roots come back to me. I know how to survive when we have very little food. I know how to make food stretch, and I know how to make concoctions, as my mom would have called it, because I can put very strange ingredients together and make a delicious meal. I have a talent for that. And so I knew we would be able to get the food to stretch for a couple days, you know. But as soon as Mr. Cinnamon was able to dig out, he ran to the grocery store. He's like, what does everybody want? I made it to the grocery store. And it was a scary ride up there, you know, because he had to go up a very steep road that was all just ice and slush and snow. And he's like, I made it to the grocery store. He's kept calling me. He's like, I made it to the grocery store. What do you guys want to eat? And I was like, okay, Lucas wants pizza. Me and Juju, we have to eat gluten-free. So I was like, there's some gluten-free vegan burritos by Amy's. They're really good. Can you get us a couple of those? And he's okay. And I was like, great. And then, like, get some vegetables. We need vegetables. We didn't have any vegetables. And I was like, and we probably need some meat. We had, I got 2 beef briskets that I clearanced out that I was going to put in the smoker. And luckily I had those. I made one of them as just like a beef roast tonight for dinner. It was really good. I was like, so we don't need beef, but we definitely need chicken. Get chicken. And I knew the stores were going to be like either empty because people like bought everything, or empty because like power outages, whatever. So I was like, just get whatever you can. He came home. He's like, I bought stuff for nachos. I figured we could have some snacky foods. I was like, okay, nachos is easy. That is good. Let's make nachos for dinner. So like, we made nachos. It was making the best of a situation, you know. And then today we were able to actually go out, and we made it to the post office because I had 2 packages I needed to mail out. And we made it to the post office, and I stopped and got myself the only soda that I have had in 2022. I know it's only the beginning of the year, but I really just needed a soda. I'm trying not to drink soda. I'm trying not to drink any sugary drinks. And I found some really good sparkling water that's made by Jelly Belly, okay? I found it at the Dollar Tree. They had cherry, watermelon, and orange vanilla. and they're delicious, and they're sparkling water, so it feels like you're drinking a soda, but there's no sugar, there's no fake sugar, there's no sweetness at all, just a little tiny bit of like a fruit flavor, and I love them, and I'm like, oh, let's go get some more. Can't find them. Apparently it's a discontinued thing, or they're just not available. I checked every store online. I was able to find them like on the internet, but the shipping was like $40, and I'm like, you know what? So if you can find the Jelly Belly sparkling waters anywhere, they're good. I like them. A lot of the sparkling waters that are not sweetened have like a weird bitter taste to them, and I don't like them. The Jelly Belly water doesn't have that weird bitterness, and so I was like, yeah, finally a water I can drink. So I'm struggling with that because for some reason the water here at my house makes me sick to my stomach unless I add a little bit of like a drop of lemon juice in it or something like that. And I can drink it if it's tea, but like the just straight water makes my stomach hurt so bad, and I don't know what's wrong with the water that makes me sick, but like it's something I've been struggling with. I'm trying to deal with not drinking soda, but luckily I have lots of tea. And that's another thing, you guys were asking me why I didn't do Tuesday tea with cinnamon this week. Just because of everything that was going on. The blizzard, New Year's, we had the big dinner for New Year's, Mr. Cinnamon's birthday. I didn't have time to make a Tuesday tea with cinnamon video, but rest assured it is coming, and I ordered myself some new cups that say Tuesday tea with cinnamon. So hopefully they come because we haven't gotten the mail. I don't know if the mail is going to be able to make it anytime soon. Hopefully I get my cups by next Tuesday tea with cinnamon. If not, we'll just do it in a regular cup. But also, I have gotten Happy Mail that I have not shown. I got a lot of Christmas cards that I didn't show. They're hanging up. I got so confused because of the holiday and everything that was going on. I didn't remember which cards I showed, which cards I didn't show, which presents I showed, which presents I didn't show. So I have gotten everything. I promise you I've gotten everything. I have not showed it because I just, it's been chaotic. The only thing that I remember that I got, because it was kind of a cool gift, is this. And I got this from, her name is Sarah. I think it's Furls Crochet. I will correct myself and I will link her below. She sent this to me. I already have this because I am a Garth Brooks fanatic. However, I don't mind having two, and I have two of a lot of the box sets of Garth Brooks. In case something happens, I have one that I leave in the packaging. So I have a couple of different box sets. I don't have double of this one yet, though. I have some of his box sets that I have double of that I keep in plastic. And now I have a double of this one, which I'll keep this one in plastic. This is Garth Brooks' Anthology Book 1. Garth Brooks did a really weird thing. He released book 1 and then he released book 3, but not a book 2. And I don't know why, and nobody knows why. But it has his first 5 years of his career in this book. And it has the disc set CDs. And like the book is really, really cool. It talks about his first 5 years in his career. And there was a lot of stuff in there that I just didn't know. And this is the first book that Garth Brooks ever wrote. But yeah, that was very, very cool that she sent me this. This retailed originally for $40, and it was only available at certain stores. And then after so many didn't sell, it went to stores like Ollie's. And I've seen this at Ollie's for much cheaper than $40. But I didn't purchase a backup, and I'm very glad to have a backup because like I said, I do have I have backups of some of his other box sets because I have kids and I have pets and stuff happens. I have a box set of his records that Scarlett ate the whole corner out of. So that's why I like having the extras. So thank you so much, Sarah. This was incredibly, incredibly thoughtful. And also, little man likes to take off with my CDs, and because he took my CD player a couple years ago. He took my CD player, and he ran off with it. And I don't really use CDs that much anyway. So like, I'm cool with him keeping the CD player in his bedroom, but he kept like stealing my CDs and ruining them. So it is very good to have a backup of that. And then I got this. I went and got this today. This is from Natalie Crochets. She decorated the heck out of this envelope. Very cool. And everything in here has pretty much been taken over. I fed the dogs their treats. She sent treats for the dogs. She sent 2 treat bags, one for each of the dogs. And the dogs were so happy. It was so funny because Oreo, when Oreo eats, she's got a really narrow, skinny mouth and a long snout. So when she eats weird. She's very finicky. She takes little bites, but if you're feeding her treat, like, because Scarlett is like a stealer of food, because Scarlett's a fat girl, Oreo will sometimes get overzealous and like nip your fingers, like not meaning to, but she's trying to hurry up and get it before Scarlett steals it, which I don't let Scarlett steal, but she's learned that. So I had Oreo all by herself and I was feeding her the little tiny bones that were in there. And she was so happy. She's munching and munching, right? And then Scarlett figured out, because Scarlett has ears, I swear, her ears can hear something chewing from like 3 miles away. She comes running. I know you're eating something. And so I handed her one of the bones, and the bones were real small. And Scarlett's got a big wide mouth because she's a pit bull. So she comes in, and Scarlett is a very gentle eater, but she will steal, you know. So she comes in, and this little tiny bone in her big giant mouth, right? And she very gently grabs it. And then she didn't know what to do with it, so she dropped it on the floor. And so I poured them all into my hand because they're the size of her kibble, like they were little tiny bones. And I poured them in my hand thinking she would eat them. She's picking one out at a time, throwing it on the floor, and then eating it because she didn't know how to eat out of my hand. I was like, dog, just eat it. Like, but she was scared she was going to bite me. So she was very careful. And then I gave them the green Denta bones, and they both very gently grabbed it and went in different directions to chew on it by themselves. And so there was also a mystery bead bag in there for Juju, which Juju immediately took off with. Yeah. And then she sent me some yummy non-green tea, because I said recently I don't like green tea a whole lot. And so she sent me Detox Cleansing Dandelion and Burdock Root. 2 of those. And 3 lemon ginger supports healthy digestion. I need both of these currently because my system is acting wonky. But that's very common for me. And then she sent me a note and she said, check out Jordan's shirt shop. Be kind to yourself. Oh, to everyone. Kind of hard reading backwards. Be kind to everyone. I like that. Oh. With Jordan's shirt shop. Young woman with autism. And she said her brother has autism. Alright, so. And then she sent me some vintage postcards that she found at a thrift store? Antique store. These are so cool. This is the Sulphur Works Lassen Volcano National Park in California. This one is Yosemite. Oh, Yosemite. And these are like, I don't even know what year these were published. They're definitely old and discolored. Love that. And then this one is the castle. This is in Utah. I've actually seen this in person. I have pictures of it somewhere. This is very beautiful. Just north of the visitor center, each band of color represents a different period of time and climate. The rock pictured here reveals over 30 million years of changing landforms, mudflats, volcanic ash that settled in swamps, and drifting desert dunes. And if you've ever been to that area of the country, the landscape changes with the weather. So if it's wet, like every color in those rocks gets way more vibrant. And this was super, super cool. I wish whoever had this did not scribble out the address because that actually makes it more of a collector's thing to have the address on there. But look at that stamp. Is that not cool? This was a postcard. But not only is it a postcard, it's a postcard with postcards. Well, these aren't even postcards. These are like scenic cards. So we have the Queen's Court, Bryce Canyon, Gulliver's Castle, Bryce Canyon. It's Gulliver's Canyon. Gulliver's Castle. I want to go to Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon is on my bucket list. Look at that. There are so many pictures. And it's front and back. These are so cool. Trying to see if this has a year on it. The views in this folder show some of the wonders of Zion National Park, Grand Canyon National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park, Cedar Breaks National Park, and Kaibab National Forest, which is actually right up next to the Grand Canyon. I believe, if I remember correctly. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm curious I might have to look this up and see if I can find any information on these. Oh, 1937. Right here. 1937. Wow. Can you imagine? 1.5 cents. How do you pay 1/2 cent? You just buy 2 for 3 cents? That's weird. St. Andreas Street, California. Los Angeles, California. How incredibly cool is that? Thank you so much, Natalie. It is so cool to me that you guys think of me when you're like off on your shopping travels or adventures. I think she said she was with her mom and she saw those and had to get them for me. I think these are the coolest things ever. Ever. So that is the mail that I have currently that I remembered to show. Oh, I dropped it. Do you ever notice I drop something every time I'm on camera? Every time. So, I think that is all that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, was like just letting you know what was going on with the blizzard, and everybody's fine. We're all good. We made it through. We are going to have a lot of cleanup when the snow melts a little bit though. Also, I'll add some more clips to the end of this because little man had a blast in the snow, and he's every day, is the snow still there? Can I go play in it? And we have a neighbor across the street. Not the crazy neighbors that I don't like, but the people diagonal that way. They're an older couple, but they're not. They have adult children that are in their 20s. So I'm guessing they might be in their 60s. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. They're very nice. I think they have three adult sons. I've never met their sons, and we've lived here a long time. Their sons just don't come. But they have a very steep driveway, and I used to yell at the girls, Juju and my 2 nieces, when they lived here, like, stay off their property. Like, I teach my kids to stay off other people's property. You never know. Like, you don't go on people's property. You respect them. And little man, it was so persistent, like yelling at him every day, like, get out of their driveway, leave them people alone. And his name is Craig. He came out one day. He's like, can Lucas just play in my driveway? He goes, I don't mind. I like seeing him out there. I was like, all right, cool. Because they have 3 boys. They know what it's like, you know. I was like, yeah, they can play out there, you know. And the crazy kids, the crazy people across the street, I used to have to yell at them all the time because they would ride down Craig's driveway and slam into the back of our vehicles with their bikes and their scooters and all that. So, like, it drives me crazy. So I had to yell at them a lot because they don't respect anybody's property. So little man is now allowed to endlessly play in their driveway and their yard. They don't care. So he took his sled over there. He's riding up and down the hill because he usually rides his scooter and his little trike up and down their driveway. So now he's sledding down their driveway. He's having a blast. But I had to go make him some mittens, and I'll pop those pictures up as well. I had to make him some mittens, and I had to make Mr. Cinnamon some as well because Mr. Cinnamon doesn't have anything he can go out and work in. I was like, you know what? I have some wool. What's on my desk? I have some wool that I don't know what I do with it. Anyway, I have a ball left of it still. I have, like, it's wool. It's like raw wool. I said the worst that will happen is it will fuzz up and felt a little bit because it's 100% like feltable wool. I said, but I'm going to make you and Lucas some wool mittens because wool is a little better for, like, moisture and, like, they dry quicker and, like, it's better than acrylic. And so I was like, I'm going to make you guys matching mittens, and I did. The little man loves his mittens. I can't stand the way they feel. They're really, like, woolly, but he likes them because they keep his hands warm. So he was out there and they stay on a little better because he outgrew his ones I made him a couple years ago, and all I had left were Jujus from when she was like 10, and they're hot pink. So he's out there with his hot pink mittens on. He didn't care. So he has his mittens. Mr. Cinnamon has a pair of mittens in case he needs them. Because Mr. Cinnamon decided he's not going to wait for the snow to melt some. He's going to go shovel 2 feet of snow. And so I was like, Juju, can you please go help your father? Because I don't want him having a heart attack out there in that snow. That scares me. It scares me, you know? So we got the driveway semi-cleared so we could at least get out. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's our adventures with the blizzard. But you will be hearing about the blizzard again in Monday's episode because I did talk about it. I recorded while the blizzard was going on because I was just trying to keep my mind, you know, off of the blizzard outside. So I filmed some, and then I knit some mittens, and then I knit some more mittens. And then I went and I found some patterns for some hats that I want to knit because Valentine's Day is coming up. And I got a knit mitten pattern I downloaded in case I decide I want to knit some mittens. There's another hat that I'm going to try to knit in between trying to work on my sister's baby blanket that I hate. I'm having such a hard time working on it. Like, every time I sit down to work on it, I just get bored to tears because it's just knit, stitch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the yarn is so thin, it's taking forever. And I just really want to be done with this yarn. I want to be done with it. I don't want to look at it ever again. I'm going to send it off to her, and I just don't want to ever see the baby blanket again. And that's sad because, like, it's a love gift. It's a love gift for that beautiful little baby that's coming, but I'm so over it. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I've been talking for over half an hour, and I'm going to go back and spend some more time with my family since they are here. Mr. Cinnamon thinks he's probably going to have to go back to work tomorrow. So by the time this video airs, he'll be back at work. I have no doubt about that. But the kids will be home the rest of the week. They have canceled school for the whole week, so they will be here with me, which I don't mind at all. I like my kids. I don't mind having them home. Yes, they get on my nerves, but I love them and I like having them here. It gives me someone else to talk to besides the dogs. So, all right, guys. Thank you for listening to this long blathering. And I will try to put up as many pictures and stuff as I can, and even maybe throw in some, I don't know what's going to be at the end of this video. I'm going to throw in some pretty pictures, and I'm going to throw in some videos of Lucas, and just throw in, like, because once the sun came out, after the blizzard was over, the sky was the most magnificent color of blue behind the white snow. And little man's teacher, I actually really like this dude. He's been messaging, you know, he worries about the kids. He wants to make sure they're okay. He's a really good person. And he's a very new teacher to Little Man because he's only been with Little Man since the beginning of December, I think. And so he's very new, but he's been texting all of the parents, and he's like, you know, after all of this, beautiful things happen. He sent this beautiful picture of, like, snow, and I was like, this is a good person. He's a good person. And he makes it a point to reach out to Little Man because Little Man has trouble at school. We know this. Little man does not get along with a lot of the other kids. They're scared of him because he's different. And it bothers him a lot because he's a very friendly, very loving, outgoing, touchy-feely person. And he gets rejected a lot. And that leads to him being angry because he's rejected so much. And so I've actually had a meeting with this teacher. And I told him the concerns. And I was watching them on the playground one day. And this touched my heart so much. Little man was walking from kid to kid. And they were like, no, no. And they were playing other stuff. They didn't want to play with him. And the teacher, this is the first time I've seen any of his teachers, because I always watch on the playground because they play while I'm in parent pickup line. And I watched him walk over to little man and started talking to him about something in the tree, and he's pointing up. And Lucas looked over at him and like was talking, and then he saw the body language of his teacher and he like mimicked, because this teacher has hands in his pocket, and then little man put his hands in his pocket and he was trying to like be like his teacher. And I was just so touched by that moment because I think Lucas recognized that someone cared about him and it meant a lot. He's like, hey, I really like this guy. I'm going to try to be like him, you know? It was a big deal. It was a big deal. So I really like this guy. I think he's a really good teacher. I think he's really good for my son. So yeah, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to add some clips and videos and whatever to the end of this video, and I will see you Monday with video that I recorded last Monday. And then after that, we'll have some tea, and I don't know what's going to happen next week, but we're just going to play it by ear. Hopefully the kids are back at school. So I can get some decent work done and get kind of back on a schedule for shooting. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Stick around for the videos. Bye. Give me kisses.